life update. I have been experiencing a lot of burnout. I don't think that I'm alone in this. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about this from the lens of mostly financial burnout. I did have a realization. What if you don't need to race to the finish line of reaching financial independence to get there as soon as you possibly can? What if instead you simply had small, simple, good money habits and you enjoyed the journey along the way? This is actually a concept known as slow-fi. Why, hello, my yellow groupers. I'm Carly, a finance grad and the creator of Best Money Class Ever, where I teach how to pay off debt in 36 months or less, invest to retire a millionaire, and stress less about money. Grab a seat. I'm about to spill the financial tea. Are you ready for it? Do you have big financial goals and you feel like you're behind and just not exactly where you want to be? If so, this is for you. In this episode, we're going to talk about exactly what slow-fi is, 2 reasons to slow down your journey to reach financial independence, what exactly financial burnout is, and signs that you are experiencing it, an example of exactly how to reach slow-fi, and at the end, I will share some personal life updates, how burnout is showing up for me, and what I'm going to be doing about it. What exactly is slow-fire? Lately, I've been talking a lot about the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. There are lots of different flavors. This one was coined by the bloggers and YouTubers at the Pioneers. According to them, they say it's less of a strategy and more of a philosophy. With standard financial independence, you want to aim to save 25 times your annual spending to have that nest egg, and then you can safely withdraw 4 of that to live off of when you retire early. Slow-fi is focused on the journey to reaching financial independence versus getting to the destination as fast as you possibly can. The idea is it's more of a marathon, not a sprint. With the standard FIRE movement, the focus is on that end goal of reaching financial independence. Who wouldn't want to have full financial independence where you can do what you want when you want it? You have the ultimate freedom, which is time freedom. Your money is literally working for you. To do that, you typically have to save 50 to 75% of your income. Sometimes you have a high income career that you don't necessarily really like or enjoy. You end up making a lot of sacrifices along the way with things like no vacations, biking to work, not really spending on what you want. And there's a lot of extreme frugality and delayed gratification. Why go slow with your journey to reach financial independence? I think there are 2 reasons to go slow. First is the reality is very few people can get rich quick, but almost anyone can get rich slowly. Here's what I mean. Overnight success is very rare. The odds of winning the lottery, having a sensational business success, or a break as a reality star show is very, very rare. And when you look at the people who do these things, they actually don't get rich. 1 in 3 lottery jackpot winners are completely broke, go through financial trouble or bankruptcy within 5 years of winning the jackpot, according to Yahoo Finance. According to Hollywood Reporter, a lot of Real Housewives are real broke, with nearly a dozen going through bankruptcies or foreclosures. And when there are business hits that look like overnight success, typically they are 10 years in the making. For example, with me, I did get a really big break. I was featured on CNBC's Millennial Money Make It series. I quickly became the #1 trending article on Apple News. It felt like I literally made it. The truth is, I had already been doing financial literacy for over a decade. I started off very small, doing my classes one-on-one in small groups. I started speaking with anyone who would hand me a mic. Another example of how rare it is to get rich quick, we're going to take a look at a standard FIRE example. Let's say someone makes $250,000 in their path to reaching financial independence as fast as possible. According to the census, only about 2% of the population have individuals that earn $250,000 or more. You're looking at households that bumps up to about 10 or 11%. That's pretty rare to even make that income. A study by Bloomberg showed 1 in 3 households that are earning $250,000 are still actually living paycheck to paycheck. And if you look at, for example, a doctor, someone who would have that kind of income, it typically takes them 11 to 16 years and massive amounts of student loans. So these high income earners are earning a lot because they put in the rep and spent years studying and mastering the skill that they have to get that income. Once they have that income, then there are the debt payments and then typically the lifestyle inflation that comes along with that, with a bigger mortgage, the childcare, fancier cars, all the things. It is relatively rare to earn that much in the first place, and then the people that do typically are also still financially stressed. Here's an example though of what financial independence on that income would look like. Let's say you make that $250,000, your annual living expenses are about $105,000. Each month you invest $6,500. For 18 years, you're investing a big chunk of your income. This is not at all a get rich quick even for those high income earners, you will have that nest egg of 2.9 million, which you can then safely withdraw over the 100K. All this is to really emphasize that very few people can get rich quick, but almost anyone can get rich very slowly. And this reminds me of the classic tale, the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise and the hare are in a race, and of course the rabbit is going speedy, super fast, and then gets overconfident and then takes a nap, and then slowly, step by step, the tortoise comes and passes the rabbit. And then once the rabbit wakes up and realizes, oh wait, he can never catch up to the tortoise, so those slow small steps wins the race. So slow and steady does win the race with finances as well. The second reason to go slow on your journey to gaining financial independence is to avoid financial burnout. What exactly is financial burnout? Financial burnout is physical, mental, and emotional stress when it comes to money and your finances. You oftentimes experience hopelessness and then no motivation. An article shows the reality is 60% of adults are experiencing financial burnout. With money, it's very common to have a lot of debt, to have paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, to have unexpected expenses, to be stressed about the economy, inflation, the cost of living, groceries. Everything is stressful and it impacts your overall health. How do you know if you are experiencing financial burnout? There are 4 signs. The first one is avoidance. You avoid looking at your credit cards, your bills. You have no idea what you're spending money on. You just swipe and then hope that things kind of work out. The second sign is exhaustion. You feel completely drained. So WebMD reports avoidance actually leads to these physical symptoms like fatigue, headaches, nausea, and stomach pain. Not great. The next sign is apathy, which is just a lack of motivation or desire to save, to pay off debt, to even care. You're just like totally just done over it. Don't want to think about it. And the last sign of financial burnout is impulse spending. You give up on the strict rules. You think that it's like an all or nothing thing. You start buying things just to get that rush of adrenaline to feel something. If you're experiencing any of these things of financial burnout, then SlowFi is for you. While I fully believe that it is amazing if you can reach true financial independence at 35, 45, whatever, that's great. The reality is a slower path is more realistic for the everyday American. Here's how to reach SlowFi. So with SlowFi, there's not actually a set formula. The standard financial independence retire early formula is to save 25 times your annual spending. That is your target nest egg. With CoastFi and BaristaFi, there are also specific formulas. CoastFi, you can check out the video on that. You have enough invested to let your money coast until you reach that standard retirement age. You'll have your target nest egg then. BaristaFi is where you have your target nest egg and you can withdraw 4% now and then supplement with part-time work. So SlowFi, you're reaching that end result of standard financial independence, retire early. Typically what this would look like is instead of retiring at 65, 67, maybe it'd be like in your 50s or 60s. So you're retiring a little bit early, but it's not a race. There again is no actual set formula for this. Here, my recommendation to reach SlowFi would be to follow the finance plan. The finance plan is my signature system to reach financial independence. And I would say the finance plan gives you the options that if you want to do full financial independence and retire early, if you want to do Coast, Barista, or SlowFi. With the finance plan, it is almost like choose your adventure with financial independence. Let me give you a refresher of this step-by-step plan. It's your literal step 1, 2, 3, and 4 with money. This is something that you can follow right now. Step number 1 with the finance plan is to save 10% of your income. If you're currently paying off debt, you do 5 towards a starter emergency fund and 5 towards retirement. Step number 2 is to pay off all of your debt. You want to pay all of your minimums plus what I call an extra Spartan amount, 300 or more, like the Spartans, to your highest interest debt each and every month. Once that highest interest debt is paid, you take that old debt minimum plus that extra Spartan amount and go towards your next highest interest debt, so on and so forth. I have a full video on exactly how this method works. Step number 3 is to have a complete emergency fund, 3 to 12 months of expenses in the bank for a rainy day. Once you're debt free, you will start investing all 10%, and then you'll do a process that I call turn a liability into an asset. Your debt is long gone, but you were used to paying it. You will then take what you were paying towards your debt and throw that in the bank to have an emergency fund. Step number 4 with the finance plan is to save for life purchases. At this point, your retirement's off to a great start. Your cash flow is amazing. You got money in the bank for a rainy day. The sky's the limit to save up for the fun things in life like a home, car, or early retirement. what you'll do is you'll continue to turn a liability into an asset. What you were paying towards your debt is long gone. You can then outright buy a car with cash, save a solid down payment for a home, or you can throw what you were paying towards debt and invest to retire early. Now, with the early retirement, you can then retire decades early, or at this point, if you want to do the slow fi path, instead of taking what you were paying towards debt and throwing that to retirement, you can just invest a little bit more than the 10% or keep just a standard 10% going, where you have the investments going on the back burner and you're not racing towards that end line. With the finance plan though, you do have a lot of freedom because you have very little expenses because you don't have the debt payments, and then you have that up to the 12-month emergency fund. If you want to take 6 months off or a mini sabbatical, you have a lot of freedoms with this plan. A very basic example of slow fi of how anyone can get rich slowly. Let's say that you start investing $500 a month for 35 years, earning 10% in the long run, you would have a nest egg of 1.6 million. I fully believe that you don't have to race to the finish line. Yeah, if you want to, you can, but life is not always linear. And so you might give yourself permission for a season to slow things down and enjoy the process versus just racing to that finish line. A little personal life update with my burnout. In episode 1 of this show, it was the finance plan that saved my life. I share kind of my story, and that story was also featured on CNBC. And essentially, I ended up going through a really, really difficult thing and sold everything that I had, did a sabbatical in Hawaii, and then came back, bought an RV with cash and SUV to pull it, and did the RV life thing. And although that sounds like empowering and fun, it was not fun. It was not a happy season of my life. August was kind of the trauma-versary or anniversary of when everything kind of crumbled in my life. And that whole journey started. Right now, if anyone has experienced trauma and like hardships and grief and all the things, something in your brain just like, it's just still there. And recently, a friend of mine who was in a group that I'm involved with, she was relatively young 60s. She recently passed away, and it was kind of like got that cancer diagnosis, and boom, 6 months later, completely healthy to passing away. So I think that these are reminders to enjoy the journey. Life is short. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And so today is what we've got. We have to kind of make the best of it. So I'm all about investing and saving for your future. But slow-fi, I think, is kind of a route to really, really focus less on the numbers and more on the life and how you wake up and spend each day. I am a fan, and I feel like for me, I've had very fluid financial independence where, yeah, I've kind of reached Coast-fi, I kind of do Barista-fi, so it's not, that's why I like personally what I've created, which is the finance plan. For me, I did share on national news that I wanted to have $1 million net worth by age 45, and I love that goal. I think that is something that I could totally do. I did a mid-year money reset where I shared my updated net worth, so I have reached $600,000 in net worth. The stock market has reached record-breaking highs. In order to reach that $1 million mark, the current math on that is I would invest about $2,500 a month. I have about 4 or 5 years to do that. Is that attainable? I could do that. My expenses are so low, but the thing that I'm finding is I do have a lot of financial freedom with where I am right now that I'm not necessarily enjoying as much as I would like to. I think that there very much so in my entire life has been this like racing to whatever goal that I have and kind of not enjoying the process of it and stressing myself out, putting so many expectations, so much pressure, so much energy. And it's kind of like, well, what is the point? Like, am I gonna magically feel like better once I have that $1 million net worth or whatever goal it is? And the answer is I do want to enjoy life more now. And right now I feel like I need to rest, slow things down a little bit and enjoy the process more, take the pressure off, lower the expectations and just focus more on self-care, having fun, enjoying what I'm doing in the life that I've created, and also not always focusing on the outcome, more so on my effort and how I feel while I am reaching the destination. That's a little bit of what's going on with me. I would really love to hear from you. I'm super curious. What do you think about slow-fi, slowing things down and enjoying the process? Or are you focused more on that end result and getting there as fast as possible? What do you think the pros and cons are? Is this something that you're doing? Spill your financial tea and let me know. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. Thank you so much, my yellow groupers, for listening. Every show has a dope name that they are calling their listeners. I'm calling you my yellow groupers. We have slow starts. We get off track. We get behind. We get knocked down. Life does not go as planned. The cards are stacked against us. The hands we are dealt are not ideal, but we don't ever give up. That is where our grit is born. Our trials, our adversities, that is what makes us stronger. Did you like this episode? If so, make sure to like it and subscribe and share it with your friends who geek out over personal finance. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure and follow and leave me a review. If you've been meaning to get your finances in order, now is the time, and this is the best place to start. Here, you'll overcome analysis paralysis with the finance plan. This is the roadmap that you've been looking for to pay off debt and invest, even if you have no idea where to start and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Are you tired of figuring this money stuff out on your own? You don't need to spend a lifetime stressed about money. You can turn things around in a month, and I will show you exactly how. Enrollment is currently closed for Best Money Class Ever, my live and virtual 4-week personal finance class. Don't worry, you can start a plan with money to pay off debt and invest right now. I'll show you exactly how. Head on over to bestmoneyclassever.com or the link below. You'll instantly get a free 20-page downloadable guide to start the finance plan. As always, remember, you only live once. Be smart with your money now. I will catch you later. Bye.